We are back with the mayor's budget improvement discussions. We have the codes administration to talk about their budget requests. We have Terry Cobb with us. Terry, I know that you've brought a couple folks with you. I'll let you introduce them here in a second. Also want to just give a shout out to several of the council members who are also with us. We have council member John Cooper. We have council member Nancy Van Rees. Council member Sharon Hurt. We have council member Taneka Bircher. We have council member Robert Swope. I think that's all. So we appreciate all of you all being here today. Just for the viewers at home, want to remind them that we will have more requests for funds than we will have revenue available. So at the end of the day, we will take a hard look at all of the requests and make the allocations to the best of the Nashville taxpayers. So Terry, over to you. Please introduce, and we'll start with your operating budget and then move into your capital budget.
Thank you. With me this morning is Bill Penn, who is Assistant Director over our Property Standards Division, Roy Jones, our Assistant Director over our Administrative Division, and also Bill Herbert, who is the Metropolitan Zoning Administrator.
You guys are busy right now, aren't you?
We're very busy. As you know, we just set another all-time record at the close of the calendar year. As we approach $4 billion in construction, it was 3.9 something billion in building construction, which is a great deal more than any previous high. The budget request we've made this year in the operating budget is approximately $1.6 million in budget improvement funds, and it includes the recommendations that were put forward by the consulting firm Fiscal Choice Consulting, plus some additional improvements in our construction-related areas. A total of 18 positions are being requested. And I might ask you to make a note, although we're asking for 18 positions, if you'll recall, one of the positions recommended was for a data analyst position. That one will actually show up in the IT budget request.
So that's why I'm seeing 17 here.
It shows 17 here, right.
Got it.
And the IT department will actually employ the individual, and codes will be their customer. Okay, the way it seems to us, at least, that it will work the best. It also would cover the additional cost related to towing of motor vehicles, mowing overgrown properties, and cover the transition cost and operating costs associated with the administrative hearing officer.
Let's talk about the property standard consultant recommendations and just talk about what those 6 FTEs would do, how that would improve what you all are doing for the public. I think that would be helpful.
Okay. The 7 positions recommended by the consulting firm, 5 of the positions would be inspector positions.
So people who are actually out in the field working, okay.
Right, boots on the ground.
Yep.
1 support staff, office support representative, 2 I think is the position. And the 7th position was the one I mentioned in a data analyst that would work, I think, to take the data that we have to analyze it. The police department calls theirs ComStat, think ComStat. In other words, we use data to better manage the property standards division.
So if you were to have these inspector positions, how would that help me if I'm a Davidson County resident? Why is that going to be a good thing?
I think two things. One is it helps us get to you sooner, quicker, spend a little bit more time on each of the projects. I think the Property Standard Division handled about 18,000 requests last year. So they've got a pretty good workload, so it helps us get there quicker, spend a little bit more time, work very, let's say, more deliberately, and then it helps us to better communicate the results, the status and results back to the individual that made the request. That primarily is what it would allow us to do.
So if I'm somebody who's got an issue in my neighborhood, this is going to be, I'm going to have a more timely response, I'm going to have a potentially, this will get resolved faster, or?
That's correct. Everybody has to understand, you know, the U.S. Constitution, the 5th and the 14th Amendments require due process of law. You know, you have to give notice, you have to explain what the charges are, you have to have the opportunity to have a fair hearing. If it goes beyond the initial discussions and cooperation, we're prosecuting in court. So we have to get on court dockets, we have to prepare and present our cases, and then they may find them guilty and fine them, which doesn't still correct the problem.
And what is the fine in Davidson County for?
Well, the maximum fine in Davidson County, like the entire state of Tennessee, is $50.
I think that's just important to remind people that that is something that is set by the state.
It's set by the state constitution.
Right. So this is not something, we get asked oftentimes to say, can't you impose higher fines and this, and the reality is the state constitution says
Right.
$50.
That was imposed in the Constitution, which is terribly difficult to amend. It's been attempted, 12, 15 years ago. We made a run at it. We got more than a majority of the votes cast for it, but you have to get 50% of the votes cast in the gubernatorial election plus one.
Right.
So we had about 2/3 of the votes cast, but it didn't amount to 50% of those cast in the governor's race. So very difficult to amend the state constitution. Our methodology, we're not so much interested in the $50 fine. The court cost alone is over $100 now.
$120.
Okay, so with court costs, it's a little bit more costly than $50. But what we're usually seeking when we go to court is we're seeking a court order where the judge mandates that they comply with the code.
Right.
If they fail to comply with the code, at that point they've got a much more serious problem than code violation. They can be held in contempt of court and put in jail. And our judges have been very good in those instances where they get no cooperation from the defendant in moving the people, finding them in contempt and putting them in jail. And it's absolutely ridiculous that would occur, but that happens.
Right. So this would help with property standards. There's been a lot of conversations about Airbnb. Does this help with that at all?
Yes.
Helping to be out
yes,
there.
There would be more property standards inspectors to work on the issues relating to short-term rental property. But the biggest bang for the buck we're going to get is going to be in the technology solutions that have been advanced for software and services related to identifying where these short-term rental properties are operating. It's estimated that there are approximately 4,600 of them operating in the county. 2,300 of those have applied for permits and are operating under permit. So we have a software and service solution through a third party. We've gone to an RFP process. The vendor has been identified by the evaluation committee, and I think they're in process of circulating the contracts for signature.
Okay. Additional staff, I think you hit all of them. Trade inspectors, let's see.
Those are different.
Those are different. So talk to me about the trade inspectors where you've got 10 FTEs.
Those are not associated with the consultant report.
Right.
No, that's something else, right.
And this one, in my mind, it's the easier one to understand because contractors pay fees for permits, and those fees support or fully pay for the services that are provided to the construction process.
So if I need a plumbing permit or an electrical permit, mechanical.
Electrical permits,
somebody has to come out and check that box.
That's correct. And these truly are, I like to say codes is the other life safety agency. We make sure that properties, buildings are safe for occupancy. These inspectors are inspecting the construction progress as the building is being built. The benchmark best practices range is 12 to 15 inspections a day, and we have inspectors that last year, I believe it was our mechanical division averaged in excess of 20 inspections a day per person. So plumbing, electrical, and mechanical inspectors are each day averaging way too many inspections. That just means that they're not allowed enough time to carefully look at the project. So 2 electrical, 2 mechanical, and 2 plumbing inspectors is what we've requested. An additional plans examiner to look at permits as they're being, permit applications as they're being processed. There are 2 zoning examiners requested. These are people who process permit applications, and an urban forester. That would, with 2 urban foresters, that returns us back to staffing level we had pre-recession.
So Stefan Kivett, who works, I think he's under
Correct.
Parks, right? So, or is he with you all?
He's an
with you
employee of
guys,
the Codes
okay.
Department,
So
works
he's-
for the zoning administration.
Okay, so he's works in codes. So this would give him, there would be another Stefan, basically.
That's correct, and the way we had structured years ago when I got the call and they said from the mayor's office, they said we're thinking that we want to hire the urban forester and place them in the codes department. My response was, that's great, give me 2 of them. And they went, why do you need 2? I said, well, the urban forester is supposed to be in the office reviewing the construction drawings on the projects that are being proposed, and he's supposed to be out in the field making inspections to ensure that the trees are being planted. And he can't be at both locations at the same time. So a few years ago, we had a process where we had an inspector assigned to the urban forester, so they would coordinate their schedules so that we'd have one out in the field and we'd have one in the office at all times.
So if the hiring of this additional urban forester, one of our goals is to increase our tree canopy
Correct.
over the next several years. Is this something that having that urban forester will make sure is happening?
Yes.
And it's not just about the planting of the trees, it's actually about making sure that the trees that are on the properties that are being developed are also being saved when appropriate in compliance with the ordinance.
That's correct. And I might also mention, while we have field inspectors, we've got approximately 60 inspectors in the department, give or take a few. We sometimes assign duties beyond their what you would think would be the scope of their inspection. Our building inspectors do zoning inspections. For instance, setbacks, the setbacks, side lots, heights, and areas. It's actually our building inspector that's performing zoning inspections. It's actually our building inspectors that are performing residential tree inspections.
And are they trained to do that? Is that, you're saying that as if like
Yes.
they're doing that, so that's part of their job too?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's part of their assignment.
Okay.
Very much like it's our mechanical inspectors actually make some electrical inspections. So it's a matter of trying to operate in the most efficient manner possible. If I've got somebody on the ground at the appropriate time, let's go ahead and let them catch that portion of the inspection as well. It's much more efficient than sending 2 people out there to check the same job.
Sure.
I have a revenue question.
Okay.
Lots of activity, lots of work, lots of people needed to do the work, but I'm seeing a drop in your revenue estimate of $400,000 for building permits.
Right, and I think last year we made a 3-year estimate on revenues. I think we've seen the peak I said it, so record that. It was first said here. Our calendar year end number on building permits was an all-time record. And it went up considerably over any previous record. Our fiscal year, we're currently projecting at 3.4 billion this for now through the end of June.
That's down.
That's 3.4 billion. The previous fiscal year is 3.56 billion, so we're seeing it flatten out. Now, that being said, there are some huge projects out there on the horizon. The new Lifeway building, we have it in the shop now, but it's not fully permitted. We've got the old Lifeway campus, which is a huge project, and we've got the old convention center, just to name a few. These are monstrous projects. It's just a matter of when they come in, what's the timing of that. And you can't open the newspaper without seeing another project announced. But we're seeing a trend to the point that this may be the new normal. We don't see it going up dramatically next year. We think it'll be pretty level.
And how is your technology working, your queue process? How's that going?
It's a lot of fun, Mayor. We're learning. We've been operating it for 5 months now. We're extremely busy in the front office with the queue. We'll have 60 or 70 people sign up first thing in the morning to be waited on during the day. So there's this surge at first, and it'll report. If you're the first or second person in, you're going to get waited on right away. If you don't intend to be there until sometime later in the day, it'll tell you you've got a 6 or 8 hour wait. The amount of time it's telling you is grossly exaggerated in the system. It actually equates to about half of whatever it tells you.
But then are people able to know that so that, again, if I've been told to come at 6 hours, but it was really 3, did I just miss my window?
Well, it'll send you updates by
Okay.
text message to keep you up to date.
Got it.
And show you your place in line. And you'll see your place in line continue to advance. And then, so it won't catch you off guard that you were told it would be a 6 hour wait, and 3 hours later, we're ready to call your name. You'll know that.
You'll see that over the
Right.
time. Well, and I know with all the construction and all of the activity going on, making sure that your office is multilingual is also really important. Can you tell me where you are on staffing up for that?
And we're a good ways away from it, frankly.
What are some of the barriers?
We know we want to. Some of the barriers are we don't have any applicants who speak another language. In this last group that we hired, we had one applicant that was bilingual. We set up an appointment for an interview, and they were a no-show, and follow-up communications, we can't get them to respond. So when you go through the hiring process and you have, I think we interviewed 25, we had 50 some odd applicants. We had one applicant who was bilingual. We scheduled the appointment, and they were a no-show.
How are you all working with
difficult to
it? I'm sorry.
Was there any specific outreach efforts to get
Well,
folks?
one of the
make
things
people
we were pretty encouraged in this last group that we hired. We had quite a few applicants, and it came right after the Metro Job Fair. And we think the Metro Job Fair brought us quite a few more applicants than we were normally seeing.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Bill and I both attended the job fair, the one back in
Thank you.
December, and there were some people, foreigners, I guess you want to say, or some people with, speak foreign languages there. But, part of our situation is they have some good information and some good experience, but ours is a little bit more technical, and it just doesn't always equate, at least so far, the candidates we saw. We did have like 165 applications for the property standards, Human Resources went through and did their their thing. It came down to about 60 that we could interview, and we interviewed, went through and looked at every one of them, and we ended up interviewing, I think, scheduling 25. But out of that 25, I think only about 20 or so actually showed. So we're getting some of that. So we're making the effort out there, but it just sometimes just doesn't equate the same way.
Sure, well, and I would think too, the lag time, when we did that job fair back in
Yeah,
December,
December.
so we have a pretty hot job market. It's March by the
Right.
time you're hiring.
Right.
You'd have 4 months that people would have already
People moving
taken
in and
themselves out of the
right,
process
yes.
because they've already been hired. So, okay. So you all need some help, it sounds like, in throwing that net a little wider to help identify some candidates that are multilingual, because I think that would be
Correct.
incredible. Okay.
I think an article that was shared with us talked about, I don't remember where the codes department was, but they were creating like a training academy for people to come in. So maybe they didn't have experience, but they offered like a training academy for people to come and learn how to be a codes inspector. And then it kind of works like a police or fire class where you're kind of preparing people. Have you all heard about that or talked about something like that?
Do that, they do that in other cities?
Yeah, it was in another city. So
I know nationally that there was an article on the web about the number of people going into the code inspections
dropping, and
is
this
dropping
was-
off tremendously.
and
So
this
something
was
like
a
that might be
strategy
very
to
good,
deal with
to
that.
deal with that.
Right, to
Creating
help
these
create.
Haven't
training
heard of anything
academies.
here, but it's kind of a national trend. We're
Yeah.
finding that with plumbers and electricians
Right,
and
right,
too. It's
right.
just sort of it's not
Yeah.
it's kind of a national problem to some extent.
There's a program that's advancing in the state of Tennessee that would actually bring construction skills and codes inspection, codes education into the high schools and start, because we're an aging group. When you look at codes inspectors, there are two hairstyles, gray and bald. Okay. It's an older group of people, and these are people who've been in construction trades their whole life, and they've got the knowledge base and the experience, and they're looking for that. They're looking for that stability later in life, and that's who's been drawn to codes administration for decades now.
Well, it sounds like we have an opportunity.
To think about that.
Yep. Office reconfiguration. Let's talk about your capital request.
Right, the capital request simply in the property standards area where there's going to be that significant increase in staffing. We're running out of space in the metro office building, so that is to reconfigure the space that the property standards division is located in, where we put a larger number of people in the same amount of space. And that's the cost that's shown there entirely. General services would put it out to bid. So at this point, it's a guess.
Yeah.
Okay. We've had one
Planning's
walkthrough
asked
with
for
them.
some funds to
Same, yeah.
redo their space, and who else is in that building? Planning, codes,
Water.
Water's got some,
Development
Arts.
center on the bottom.
right, arts and,
Arts, fair,
anybody else? Who else? Anybody else? That's about it. Planning, that's about it,
that's
yeah.
it.
We've redid the building a pretty significant way when we opened the Development Services Center a few years ago, and then we renovated it a little further I guess it's been about a year and a half ago now.
Would it be helpful, one of the things that we've been talking about, of course, is always this idea of a one-stop shop and co-locating different departments that make sense together. Historical Commission, when we talk about codes, that's one of the components I know that you all looking at how we're gonna have to renovate Sunnyside and move those folks out. Is there room over there for the Historical Commission?
Today, I'm not real sure. There may be some space up in the second floor area. There's not any space down on the first floor without a significant renovation.
Okay.
But the Historical Commission is represented in the
You guys do
Development
have-
Services Center.
One or two folks there?
There's one person there each day. I can see where the interaction between the Historic Commission and the Planning Department is probably greater
Sure.
than the interaction between the Historical Commission and the
Yeah.
permit
Okay.
process.
Yep, okay. Okay.
As we look at redoing that, it sounds like we're, a lot of requests to redo that building. We need to think about how we.
that whole complex,
Especially
yeah.
with Sunnyside. I mean, I think there's a,
Yeah.
mayor's been out there more recently than I have, and concerns about just the long-term stability of Sunnyside without
Right.
some significant renovation. And so one of the things we'll look at as we put a capital plan together is whether to go ahead and fund the renovation of Sunnyside, which of course means Historical Commission would need a new home for at least a period of time, if not permanently. So we're gonna work on that.
Well, the 5 additional property standards inspectors that are requested, we can shoehorn the additional inspectors in there with a modest amount of renovation. But if we get beyond that, frankly, we're gonna have to go out and look for space. We're gonna have to move pretty much the whole division's gotta move somewhere.
All right. Good to know.
Good.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? We appreciate you, and thank you guys for getting us back on the schedule.
Thank you.
Thanks.